A new generation of trainers stands at the foot of a mountain. Up at the peak sits the thrones of 4 kings. 2 thrones sit empty, and at their feet is a wave of veteran trainers aiming for greater heights. Who will come out on top? Find out now on the Weekly RemARC. Hello everybody, you're listening to the Weekly RemARC. I am Dozer. I am not dying this week, but I am tired. So you're listening to the Weekly RemARC, the #1 and only official ARC. Okay. When I say only official ARC podcast, I mean the RemARC brand, not just the Weekly RemARC. Close Combat, Imprison, Bullet Punch, Arcanum are also official ARC podcasts, but RemARC is, in my mind, the #1, because it's mine, and therefore it's better. And so what's going on this week? This week we're starting off with some referral rewards being handed out in our announcements here. Starting out, Heart Huang completed their 10th ARC week. Therefore, along with Yui, they have unlocked the Change of Venue hidden power, now showing as an inventory for each of them on the roster tab. This HP will expire on 8/2/3. Platoon Wars. The battles continue, and Platuno remains off on top. Spence took his first loss of the event, and the Reggie and Fire Gym lost as well. Hashhawk's lone win was enough to keep them in first place. They could have been in third if not for that win. The story of the week is that Nahtto and the HEart Breckerrs went 4-0, and the leading trainer, Brecker, also contributed a bonus point, so they shot up from 4th to 2nd place. That bonus point made the difference on the outside. Looking in is House Habsburg, with the same win-loss record of 6-3, but 1 point behind the HEart Breckerrs. We still have 3 more weeks of battles in Platoon Wars, and weeks like what Nahtto just had can happen to any team, so keep it up. No team is eliminated just yet, so put those IVs to good use. Additionally, the Royal Court is making a return for 2018. With the current cycle drawing to a close, it's time for us to announce our king candidates for the 2018 ARC season. Before we get into that, a quick breakdown of how the ARC Royal Court works. First off, it only happens once a year. It's not the end of every block. It's at the end of the last block of the year. But also, the kings are divided into one of 4 suits, depending on what qualities they display the most. Those suits are diamonds, hearts, clubs, and spades, with each suit representing distinct qualities. Diamonds represents strength in combat and battle, and they rally behind the King of Combat. The hearts represent consistency, order, and reliability alongside their suit's king, the King of Consistency. Then come in the black suits with clubs, which are representative of the chaotic threat and upsetting the status quo, along with the King of Disarray. And finally come the spades, who represent the side games of ARC and the underlying games within ARC that come in the form of IVs and hidden powers. The spades are led by the King of Schemes. When crowned, each king is given their own title that goes beyond just their suit claim. This title will stay with them unless it is usurped by a future king. As such, last year's kings were Cutie Fly as the King of Champions for the suit of diamonds, Venge, the King of Heartbreak, as the King of Hearts, Abrant, the King of Chaos for the suit of clubs, and yours truly, Dozer Zagashi, the King of Thieves, as the King for spades. With that being said, here are the current 2018 king candidates. They are not in any specific order, and candidates may be added as the cycle draws close, but candidates will not be removed. We have Venge, Reginanos, Otto, Yui, Abrant, Smence, and Na. So keep a lookout for those trainers to really push what they've been doing, and for maybe other trainers to enter the fray here in the last weeks of the cycle. And remember, when we take a look at the kings, we do look at the entire 2018 year in a whole. It is not just this cycle. But of course, for some trainers, we can only look at what they have this cycle, so we try to weight things as much as we can. Moving on. The road to Starcade. Quick reminder of where the world title shots stand. Abrant is no longer the number one contender, but he does have a world title shot Hidden Power to resolve. Choose will get his title shot next week. The winner between Choose and Venge will go on to Starcade 7 and face Abrant. Then we have the ladder climb. We have Otto moving up to Ace Trainer and Shadow moving up to Rising Star. And I don't have anything written down for tier shifts, and I hope that's accurate. And then the Dark Arena for this week is doubles VGC Moon Series, which is like VGC Sun Series, except you can use most, but not all Z moves. I think the only one that you really can't use is Ultra Necrosium, or whatever the Ultra Crystal is. And from there, we're just going to awkwardly stumble and trip our way into the battle breakdown. Starting off with the battle breakdown, we have Show Me Your Power. The hidden powers that were used for 7-2-3. We have Dart using a change of venue versus Nah, throwing that match from Little Cup to singles OU. Then we have hidden powers from the Sage of Mugen versus Otto matchup. Mugen also cashing in a change of venue, throwing the match from, once again, Little Cup to singles OU. Otto using a plus power alongside that. Then there was Venge versus Abrant, where we had a plus power from both trainers. Then we have Brecker, who used a plus power versus Yo Pierre. And then Dan the Gaming Man, who used a plus power versus Reggie Nanos. And also, hidden powers effective 7-4. We have Abrant using a stance change, shifting over from normal to flying. Looking into last week's battles, first off, we have a non-battle. Shoops and Vendetta did not happen. That match was scheduled in singles UU. Remember two things. One, the arc week ends, unless you're given an extension, the arc week ends at, I think it is 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Eastern Standard Time. I think it's EST. Yeah. And if your battle is not done by that point, it gets rolled over as a non-battle. We submit it to a form. And reminder, multiple non-battles may have you being put to being made inactive. So make sure you keep on that, and you are reaching out to your opponent as soon as you can. Do not assume they will contact you. Take the initiative and contact them. Then we have Hart Wong going over a Kelly due to a no-show. This match was in singles NU. A reminder, this didn't happen in this situation because Kelly was around and responding. Kelly was responding late and after the fact, so the no-show form was used. But remember that if a no-show form is usually used against you, you may be moved to inactive and you will have to request to be made active again. And then on to matches that actually really happened. Starting off with Evo Janice beating I Choose Pokemon in singles monotype. Then we have, this was a close one, an interesting one to say the least. We have Shadow beating Syracuse in doubles VGC Sun Series. We have Brecker beating Yo Pierre and getting one of those beautiful, beautiful points from bonus points from the plus power. Then we have Dan beating Dan, the Gaming Man, of course, beating Reggie in doubles VGC Sun, also cashing in on a bonus point from a plus power. We have Marble Fall beating Fire Gem in singles PU. We have Hashok beating Max in singles OU. Na beating Dart in singles OU. Otto beating Sage of Mugen in singles OU, and Otto getting one of those sweet, sweet bonus points from a plus power. Then we have Yui beating Sments in singles OU, Yui getting 0.75 bonus points due to point differential. And then Venge beat Abrant in singles Ubers for the best of 3 world championship match, and therefore Venge has earned a bonus point due to the plus power. And where does this leave us? Well, moving on into the hierarchy for the league points, that puts Venge way up high with a 9-1 record, 90% win ratio, and 22.45 points on the ladder. Abrant right behind there, and by right behind, I mean quite a bit behind, with a 6-4 record and 15.7 points, followed up by Sments, who has a 6-4 record as well, but only 14.28 points. Then there is Yui, who's straggling behind a little bit with a 7-2 record and 11.64 points. And then Otto, who has a 6-4 record like a Bronson Spence, but lacking those crucial bonus points, only has 10.2 points overall. Which means, and I think all of these trainers have a significant amount of bonus points, but even with that, there is still a about 12-point difference from first and fifth. There's just about a roughly 7-point difference, I'm estimating, these are not exact, between first and second. So yeah, Venge is running away with this cycle yet again. But outside of that, we're taking a look at big rises and falls in the hierarchy. Shadow and Evo both jumped up 6 places in the standings. Brecker shot up 4, and then Dart, Max, Fire Jump, Syracuse, and Choose, all losing their matches, fell 3 points in the standings. And now, on to Platoon Wars, whereas, you know, you have Platoono up in first, still with 11.08 points and a 5-4 record. And they're not as far in the lead as they were before, because now Nahtto and the HEart Breckerrs have a solid 10 points with a 6-3 record, and Haas Habsburg has over 9 points, also with a 6-3 record, just right behind them. Something worth mentioning, it doesn't matter always who you beat as much as that you beat them and that you get bonus points, because our second place team has the lowest strength of schedule of all platoons, second only to the fourth place platoon of Despacito 2 with 7.33 points and a 4-3 record. And then in last, we have Why Do Girls Like Bad Boys with their 4.58 points and their unimpressive 3-5 record. Doing a deep dive into each platoon where they stand right now, Platoono has Sments and Hashok both with a 2-1 record, but Sments with 7.75 contributing points thanks to a bunch of bonus points, in contrast to Hashok's 2.67, and then Reggie Nanos and Fire Gem are both each contributing 0.67 points. Reggie has the tiebreaker there to contribute his points over Fire Gem's, but it doesn't really matter because they'd be contributing the same points either way. Then our Platoon 2 with Despacito 2 has Dart in the lead with 3.67 points with a 2-1 record, thanks to some good bonus points. In second is yours truly, Dozer, who has been inactive the last 2 weeks, but is still sitting 1-0 with 3 points, thanks to some bonus points. I'm back this week, though, by the way. Find out what I'm doing on the Close Combat episode that should be coming out tomorrow with the announcements and the fight card. Anyway, we have Syracuse, the third points contributed for Despacito 2 with a 1-2 record and 0.67 points. And then Shoops, who is yet to get a win because their match did not happen this week, is sitting there with 0 points on the board. Then as for Why Do Girls Like Bad Boys, we have Max with 2.17 points with a 1-2 record as their main contributor, alongside Yui, who has 1.75 points with a 1-1 record as their second contributor, and then a Kelly with a 0.67 record with a 1-2 win-loss ratio. And then poor Vendetta, like Shoops, they were facing each other, their match did not happen, so neither one of them got one of those wins that they very much need. Not on the HEart Breckerrs. Brecker, of course, making a name for himself in this team with 4.67 points on a 2-1 record. And then Na and Hart Huang both have 2-1 records going into this, both contributing 2.67 points. Though one of Hart's wins is from a no-show, but a win is a win, so we count those points. And then the most impressive win-loss ratio team for all of their members, all 5, is Haus Habsburg, where they are all 5 of them are in perfect unison right now because they all have a 2-1 win-loss record. And 4 of them have 2.67 points they're contributing, Shadow being the odd one out, and their points leader with 3.67 points thanks to a single bonus point. So yeah, that is an absolute unit. That is a team who is in sync with each other, and now let's just awkwardly transition into the Dark Records, where Venge is on top with a 29-9 win-loss ratio in Dark, and an insane 44.26 points Abrant following that up with a 26-12 record with 35.58 points. Then it's Otto with a 13-6 record and 17.79. In fourth, yours truly with an 11-11 record with 11 points. And then Smens, who is on a 10-game losing streak in Dark, by the way, with an 11-13 record with 10.08 points. On to our extras little side game section here, taking a look in the game corner. There were no perfect weeks for anyone this week. Sage, Yui, and Evo, though, did manage to round out this week's top placements. And Mugen and Yui are only missing out on their 1-point pick, up there with 14 points each, while Evo missed out on his 2-pointer with 13 points to his name. And what this has done to the absolute leaderboards is Mugen, out of those three, Mugen is the only one who has moved his way onto the higher placings of the Game Corner leaderboards, putting the current top three as Mugen, then yours truly Dozer, and then Dart, as we round out the top of the current standings for the Game Corner. The 5-point picks were about as much of an even spread as it could be, with Shadow having the most picks at 3 out of a possible 19, and the same can really be said for all picks this week, as they were kind of all over the place. But you can find out more about this week's Game Corner on this week's episode of Arconomy, hopefully, which should be coming out either Friday or Saturday. I don't think it happened last week because Dart got randomly assigned babysitting duty, and no one else really knows how to handle Arconomy the way he does. It's kind of his own special thing. So, unfortunately that happened, but hopefully things work out this week. Moving on to the IV breakdown, Max is within 15 IVs of the IV cap again, with 185 IVs. I have a feeling next week we won't be including him in our IV breakdown because he'll be at 200 once again. Yui not far behind that either, with 175 IVs, only 25 away from the cap. A little bit more breathing room, we have Evo Jonas with 162 IVs, and then I Choose Pokemon with 147. And then, new to the IV leaderboards. Actually, I don't think this is accurate because there was a mess up in the calculations, but it's in my notes. We'll give him a shout out. Otto, for a little bit, was over Abrant by 1 IV at 112. Abrant was deducted IVs for a stance change that he actually had an item hidden power for in his inventory, so he would not have spent those IVs. So, Abrant should really be there with like 120 some, but for now, we'll pretend it's Otto with 112. Pardon me. Moving on to Record Watch. For the Game Corner, most spoiler points in a block. Spence finally lost, therefore didn't contribute more to his spoiler points. As he moves away from the toughest part of the hierarchy, Spence might find himself back in his trusted win circle. There's enough time left for Spence to break this record still, but only time will tell. Onto our dark records, the longest losing streak. We're talking about Spence again because Spence now has 10 losses. One more to tie his 11-game losing streak record in dark. But given how it's the beginning of a new week, he'll have a great opportunity to even extend this record. Oh, did I mention Spence is a self-proclaimed terrible battler in doubles? Confirmed by yours truly. League records. So we've got 2 of these that we're looking at right now. Most points in a singles ladder. We've talked about it a little bit over the last few weeks. But Venge is 1 win away from officially breaking the record, where it currently stands at 18.35. Due solely to the amount of bonus points Venge has, he would need to lose the remaining 4 battles to fail to break this record. 1 more win guarantees he breaks the record, but we'll still need to wait until the end of the cycle to see just by how much. And then we have the longest losing streak, which was 8 set by Syracuse mini cycles ago, and Vendetta did not complete his match last week, so this looming record is still haunting him. Hopefully we'll see Vendetta in action this week and get it done. Like a band-aid, just rip it off. And that's all we've got for Weekly RemARC this week. I hope to catch you all... Well, I'll catch you all tomorrow on the Close Combat, because I'm actually going to be doing that like I used to. So old Close Combat style, so that'll be fun. And outside of that, I will catch you all next week with the Weekly RemARC. See you later. Bye-bye.